talk to them.
Call to order the regular meeting of the Terre Haute City Council, 6 p.m. Thursday, October 10th, 2024. The first item on our agenda tonight is a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Curtis DeVaughn.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman DeVaughn. Michelle, can I have a calling of the roll, please?
Councilperson Azar.
Here.
Councilperson Boland.
Here.
Councilperson Chalos.
Present.
Councilperson Devon.
Here.
Councilperson Dinkle.
Present.
Councilperson Hinton.
Present.
Councilperson Loudermilk.
Present.
Councilperson Nation.
Here.
Councilperson Thompson.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you, Michelle. At this time, we allow 30 minutes time for public comments for items that are not on our agenda tonight. We ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. We've got a long meeting tonight, so I appreciate it if you'd abide by that. Okay, first on the list, we do have Mr. Donald Hyde.
Yes, my name is Donald Hyde. I live at 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. You got a lot to do because you got to finish the budget. And it's got to be signed by you guys and sent to the State House to see if they approve it. All that's got to be done before this month's out. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. The state of Indiana decided to pass a law making abortion legal.
Mr. Hyde, I want to stop you right there, okay? We are not allowed as a council to talk about topics that are not germane to what the council can oversee or rule on. So I'm going to ask you to abide by that too. We can't use the microphone as our public platform.
I'm not.
So I'm just asking you to please respect
What
and
I'm,
limit your
what
comments.
I'm going to say
I'm
has to
speaking.
do with you.
I'm speaking. We
All
have
right.
no, limit your comments to things that are germane to council business, please. Go ahead. I'll let you know if it's not.
Oh, my impromptu speaking, thank God. Here, let's go this route then. I stated a fact. I did not make that up. Now, with that fact taking place now in this city and across the entire nation, I can go back to my, not childhood days, but my teenage days when I was a high school student. And they were debating about this before they passed a law that I thought was unfair at the time, and still think it's unfair because it did not take everything into consideration. And you're about to learn again what I knew 50 years ago. These kids are going to be born out of
Mr.
what?
Hyde.
They're going to be born.
Mr. Hyde, the council has, that is not germane to council business.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. It's big time domain to council business.
Can you
Not
tell
just
me in
your
what way?
council,
Can you tell me
not
what
just
way?
your council, but every council in the state of Indiana.
This council is what we need you to speak
All
to.
right. If those kids are born, and they are being born right now, whether you want to admit it or not, they have to be taken care of. They have to be fed. They have to be nurtured so that when they go to school, they'll be able to make good grades. Because I'm a taxpayer. And when I pay my taxes next year, it'll be 50 years that I pay property taxes. 50 years. Most of those property taxes, well, they go to the education system in this city and county. Nowhere else. And by the way, I'm not alone. Everybody that pays property taxes does that and knows that it's spent money to educate the kids. Well, guess what? Your council, your job is to protect everybody, including those kids born out of wedlock. They've got to have nourishment, they got to be healthy, and they got to be kept healthy. Now, are we going to start an orphanage system again in 5-10 years when we got a bunch of them again? And I'm not making this yes, no, or not, but you're going to be held accountable for that too. You're the one that's gonna be the one approving an orphanage, and where it's gonna be, and how safe it's gonna be, not me. You are. And it's gonna be, whether you like it or not, it's gonna happen across the state. Now, the current lady that's running for president of the United States says, quote unquote,
Mr. Hyde, can you wrap up, please?
I'm wrapping up. This is my final statement.
Thank
That's
you.
why I was trying to wrap it up. She said she would sign a bill if she's elected president that would make abortion legal again. And that still won't work. That's all I'm saying, because there's still gonna be kids born, and they're gonna have to be raised by somebody. And this city council is gonna be doing the raising. Thank you.
Next on the list, Jesse Tohill.
Good evening, President Bolin and members of the council. I will keep this brief. I know you've got some heavy lifting to do tonight. I just want to remind you this weekend is the city's final cleanup of the year. So 4 locations: Terrytown School, Woodrow Wilson Middle School, Sarah Scott Middle School, and then 1211 Wabash. One more time, we'll have a cleanup there. But 8 a.m. till 12 p.m. or until the dumpsters are full. We've got 15 dumpsters. We'd like to see them full. Maybe not much more than that, but that's the number we're shooting for. So spread the word, please. Any questions?
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, guys. Yep.
Mr. Kevin Southwood?
Kevin Southwood, 1638 7th Avenue. My comment is about down at Fairbanks Park on that fountain. You know, I believe that was built around 1980, and it lasted a couple years. The nozzles got all plugged up, and it was just left to into a disastrous state. You know, if a person maintained their home like that, they'd be getting a notice that the house is going to be torn down. And I went down there and looked at, there aren't no nozzle stuff, and I thought I remembered that they said that because the hard water plugged up all the nozzles, they couldn't keep them clean. So, you know, all these pools around homes and stuff, you know, the pools at the Deming Park, at the YWCA, they'll have to be treated. So how come down at the fountain, how come we don't have like a grade on that? It all goes down into where those fountains would spray at, dig up that dirt and put in some of those small tanks and build them up. You could ask for labor to help do it, but the water would be recirculated, it would be treated, and if it got out of hand or something like that, you know, you could always pump it out into a truck and put some fresh water into it. But to have a fountain and to let it just be a monument of how an entire city and county walked away from it defeated, unable to hold on to. Everybody used to come down there and look at that, you know, because there really weren't nothing like that around this area at all. So to allow something like that just to be dissolved into nothing, it's a real problem, and I think that it's a monument of our negatives, what we allow to happen in the city and this county, because we're not willing to take our problems one at a time and have one direction of our positives set, you know, where everybody could have a survey or something. What problems do you want to see fixed? Present one problem. After you do some surveys, you run it down to 12 problems a year. Every month you come down to these meetings, first 2 meetings, you would maybe get an hour for public comment, and you would have people that would have a vested interest in one idea. One idea uses a focal point for people to all you to wrap your minds around, and to concentrate that mental energy on one problem and not all these other problems that are irrelevant to so many people. If everybody got together, you could have a lot of expertise, a lot of people that are really concerned about one problem. They could come up here and help offer ideas.
Can you wrap up, Mr. Southwick, please? Thank you.
That's it.
Oh, you're over the 3 minutes, so I'm trying to be consistent. Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public that wishes to make a comment on non-agenda items? This time we'll close public comments. Michelle? Corrections to the journal?
There are none.
Communications from the mayor?
There are none.
Reports from city officials?
There are none.
Todd has something he wants to
Oh,
say.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It's okay. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes, and I'd like to get you all to think about our friend Michael McCormick. Mike McCormick, the Vigo County historian who passed away recently. We buried him today out at Highland Lawn Cemetery, right next to the National Road. It's a nice spot, and a nice cemetery, and it's a fitting place for Mike's tomb. Mike was 85 years old when he died. He was an attorney, a journalist, and an historian. He was the official Vigo County historian for 24 years. And that's the way that most of us knew him and remembered him. You may have read his work in the Terre Haute Tribune-Star, where he wrote Wabash Valley. He wrote a weekly article called Historical Perspectives, and then for a long time, over 10 years, maybe closer to 20, he did a quarter-page ad that he put together and wrote the text for First Financial Bank. I worked closely with Don Smith on these to figure out who they were going to and what they were going to memorialize. And then Mike wrote the text and fit it into the box. So there are a whole lot of those out there. Those were called Wabash Valley Profiles for those of us who have been reading the paper for a long time. For this council, what you may not have known and what I didn't remember or had forgotten was that Mike was the Terre Haute City Attorney for a few years under Mayor Bill Brighton back in the late 1970s. Mike was a good guy. He was generous and kind, and he leaves a void that's going to be difficult to fill. When I look at this generation that's passing, and people like Mike, I look around at the leaders who are among us, and I ask myself, well, where are these people now? And I hope that some of them have yet to reveal themselves. But Mike leaves big empty shoes, and I will miss him, and I know that a lot of you will too. That's it. I just wanted to say something nice about Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Nation. Michelle, reports from Board of Public Works and Safety.
There are none.
Reports from standing committees.
There are none.
Reports from non-standing committees.
There are none.
Items previously tabled.
There are none.
Tax abatements for confirmation.
There are none.
Items on second reading.
There are none.
Okay, at this time, we're going to make a couple changes to the agenda. We are going to move resolution 23 and 24, and we're going to take care of them now. So, Michelle?
Resolution 23, 2024, transfer of $2,000 in the EPD budget.
Petitioner?
Madam President, members of City Council, I'm Jim Schneider, Director of Code Enforcement. This is a simple transfer with the code enforcement budget to cover a deficiency in my vehicle repair account. The city had a change in their automobile insurance in the last year that was unexpected. Nobody realized it, honestly, that if you're involved in an automobile accident, there's a $2,500 deductible that we have to pay. This accident was one of my officers. It wasn't his fault, but the insurance company still says we have to pay it ahead of time. My understanding is it will be in a reimbursement later, but we don't know when that will be. So I'm here to answer any questions.
All right, is there anyone from the public that wishes to comment on Resolution 23?
Donald Wayne Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street. Yeah, I got a simple answer for you. Pass it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Council comments?
Madam President?
Councilman Nation?
Thank you, Jim, for the work that your code enforcement department does.
Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, I move that we pass. I move for approval of Resolution 23, 2024.
Second. We have, I gotta find it in my agenda here.
All the way. Come back. At the end.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 23, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilwoman Loudermilk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 23, 2024 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle?
Resolution 24, 2024, designating Memorial Way for Dr. Gregory Curtis Bell, Terry Gilbert, is it Dishinger, and Clyde Edward Lovell.
Tishner?
I think that's me. The council was contacted by Sue Boyle, who's a niece of Clyde Lovellette, and she asked that we consider recognizing not just her uncle Clyde, but also Terry Dissinger, in the way that Greg Bell is recognized there at 12 points. And when we talk about 12 points, I'm talking about the small triangle that's bounded by Maple, Lafayette, and 13th Street. There's an Olympic gold medal plaza that's actually a city park that's in the middle of that small triangle. And there are monuments to these three gold medal Olympians for Terre Haute, all of whom won gold in different Olympics at different times, and significantly, all of whom are graduates of Garfield High School, which was just about a block away. Anyway, what I crafted and what's before the council now is a resolution designating the three memorial ways for the blocks surrounding Gold Medal Plaza. I'm not talking about the whole length of 13th Street or the whole length of Lafayette or the whole length of Maple, just the one block sections that bound the Olympic Park, Gold Medal Plaza. And I'll yield and let you ask questions if you have any.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on Resolution 24, 2024?
Donald Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute. Again, one word, pass it.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Anyone else? Close council comments, or close public comments and open council discussion. Councilman Nation?
Madam President. If you'll bear with me, I'd like to just read this. It's short, and it's a resolution designating three memorial ways for the blocks surrounding Gold Medal Plaza. Whereas Gold Medal Plaza is a Terre Haute city park located in 12 points at the intersection of Lafayette, Maple, and North 13th Street. And whereas this park also includes a memorial to Terre Haute's three Olympic gold medal winners, Dr. Gregory Curtis Bell, Terry Gilbert Dissinger, and Clyde Edward Lovellette. And whereas Dr. Gregory Curtis Bell was a 1948 graduate of Garfield High School who won an Olympic gold medal for broad jump at the 1956 Games held in Melbourne, Australia. And whereas Terry Gilbert Dissinger was a 1956 graduate of Garfield High School who won an Olympic gold medal for basketball at the 1960 Games held in Rome, Italy. And whereas Clyde Edward Lovellette was a 1948 graduate of Garfield High School who won an Olympic gold medal for basketball at the 1952 Games held in Helsinki, Finland. And whereas the Terre Haute City Council wishes to honor the memory and achievements of these local athletes on the world stage, be it therefore resolved that the following one-block sections of the below-listed streets bordering Gold Medal Plaza be designated as follows: Maple Avenue, Dr. Gregory Bell Olympic Memorial Way; North 13th Street, Terry Dissinger Olympic Memorial Way; and Lafayette Avenue, Clyde Levellet Olympic Memorial Way. Be it further resolved that the Board of Public Works and Safety, while not changing Maple Avenue, North 13th Street, or Lafayette Avenue's designation or signage, be directed to prepare and hang one gold sign with black lettering on each of the above described blocks reflecting these Memorial Way designations. We have some relatives of Clyde Levellet here with us this evening, and I'd like to thank Sue for making this initial contact and elevating this to the point where we're actually doing something to recognize these people's achievements. And one more thing. Clyde Levellet, as they've told me, he served one term as the sheriff of Vigo County. He organized the first horse posse that we had to go and do search and rescue when it required horseback. And he was outspoken, this is in the mid-1960s, for the need for us, Terre Haute government, to clean up the red light district and try to move beyond that part of our city's history. That was an unpopular position back for a politician to take back in the mid-60s. For those of us who have read Mike McCormick's book and are students of Terre Haute history, like me, you realize that a lot of Terre Haute politics back then were defined by which side you were on for these issues. Clyde Levellet served one term honorably as the sheriff of Vigo County, and then after giving voice to this important community step that we needed to take, he was voted out. One other thing about Clyde, they said that his campaign slogan was "a big man for a big job." And there are lots of big jobs in local government. And I applaud those of you who sit around this table with me for stepping up and taking them on, and also for our clerk and our mayor too. On that note, I'll yield.
Any other council discussion?
Madam President,
Councilman Dingle?
I move for approval of Resolution 24, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 24, 2024, made by Councilman Dingle, seconded by Councilwoman Hinton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 24, 2024 is approved. Thank you. All right, Michelle? Let's see where we're at.
Appropriation, at this point, Council President Boland, were you considering moving appropriation 37 and 38 to the end of the agenda?
Yes, that's what we'll do. Appropriation 37 and 38 are going to be moved to the end of the agenda. We'll go ahead and move forward with our ordinances.
Appropriation 39, 2024, $5,649.30 from animal non-reverting 0291-0000 to purchase of equipment, animal control non-reverting 0291-000004444010. As a reminder, you need to vote to take action, and there is a typo on your notes. There is not an amended version.
Okay, just a typo. Petitioner?
President Boland, City Council, Jim Schneider, Director Code Enforcement. What this transfer is, it's to allow me to buy new tranquilizer guns for the Code Enforcement Animal Control Team. The equipment that they have now is well over 20 years old. It is no longer replaceable, and the form that it is, spare parts are non-existent. We're just kind of scavenging what we've had to keep them going. What I'm wanting to do is get new and modern equipment. These, instead of the pistols that people confuse with actual handguns, hey, they're going to shoot this dog, are actually rifles. Once we get them, they will have red tape put on them so everybody knows that they're less lethal. probably do some type of press release at that point so the public knows what we got. They have a little bit better range, so it's just a good deal all around. So I'd ask for approval. Any questions?
Thank you. Anyone from the public wish to comment on appropriation 39, 2024?
Donald Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. And once again, one word, pass it.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Anyone else? Closed public comment, open council discussion.
Madam President.
Councilwoman Hinton?
Thank you. How many of these can you purchase for this one?
We're looking to buy 5. What that'll do is just about every vehicle. One of the things that I started doing when I took over code enforcement in early '23 is to outfit every vehicle that we have with the exact same equipment. So an officer can get in somebody else's car and they're going to have the exact same equipment, every one. And that's the goal that we've been driving towards in the last couple of years.
Thank you. I yield.
Any other council discussion?
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk?
if there's no further discussion, I'd make a motion that we take action on appropriation 39, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to take action on appropriation 39, 2024, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can take action on appropriation 39, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve appropriation 39, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to approve appropriation 39, 2024, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Appropriation 39, 2024 is approved.
Thank you.
I like the press release idea. Great. Michelle?
Appropriation 40, 2024, $10,000 from edit number 04040096 to tree maintenance edit number 04040096 You must vote to take action.
Hello, petitioner.
Good evening, Councilwoman Boland and members of the Terre Haute City Council. What you have before you here today is essentially repurposing a $10,000 grant that has been received from Trees, Inc., and they subsequently had received that through the IRA, Inflation Reduction Act. While it's related to this, but not the particular item, I apologize to our city clerk. I should have brought this up earlier. What you aren't seeing, there was a $40,000 inter-series transfer, which did not require council action, also to the tree maintenance line. Historically, this line sits at about $100,000. There have been years that it has not been fully spent. So yes, we've done a 40% increase with that transfer, and we are fully spending it. I'm sure you've seen plenty of tree removal trucks. We now have 2 companies at the same exact price who remove trees for the city of Terre Haute. And also our city employees, the street department handles a lot more tree pruning. We just got another list today of trees that will be pruned. So a lot of tree action. I know it's a hot topic, but we've really increased the amount of work that we do in that space as well. So with that, we come before you with the request to take $10,000 from edit to tree maintenance.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wish to comment on appropriation 40, 2024? Mr. Hyde.
Finally, this time, no one word. My name is Donald Wayne Hyde. I live at 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. You guys are doing a terrible job with the tree removal. You're cutting down way too many trees. You're not pruning your trees properly. And I walk around all the time, I see them. I can name you at least 3 places where at least 16 to 18 trees were taken out of a single city block, for God's sakes. And these were old trees, the kind of trees that were putting air in the air. They were giving us air, for God's sakes. And they weren't all that, shall we say, sick. And I saw them cut down, and my God, 2 or 3 of them, there was at least 100 plus years old. There was no sign of any kind of sickness at all. So if you're going to transfer them to maintain the trees, I got no problem with that. I really mean that. But I think We've been cutting down way too many trees in this city, and it's going to eventually affect our breathing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Anyone else from the public wish to comment?
Yeah, no, that's a interesting comments. So within that line, that's why it's called tree maintenance, because it's not just removal, it's also maintaining the trees that we have. And I'm sure you've all seen the great work that Trees Inc. has been doing, partnering with the city, planting trees for that muchly needed air for us to breathe in. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would agree that that's one of the big topics that we all get calls about is problems with trees in specific neighborhoods. I'll close public comments and open council discussion.
Madam President.
Councilman Nation?
Mayor, if you don't mind, I see the letter from Trees Incorporated with the grant agreement, and it says a minimum of, this is part of their 1,000 trees for Terre Haute, and I know that this is an ongoing effort of Trees Incorporated. With this $10,000 check, it says that a minimum of 100 trees will be planted in city-owned tree rows in Terre Haute. Can you just talk a little bit about what part of the city those 100 trees are going to go into, if you know?
I cannot today because I do not have the exact locations in front of me.
But these are part of their annual or semi-annual planting efforts? Where
It is. It's in conjunction with their continuous planning. And then of note, that 1,000 tree goal, we expect to see a very positive increase with that because the city also recently received federal funding for those 4 parkettes, which are just mini green spaces on lots that you cannot build a home in that redevelopment currently owns. So there's going to be some trees.
It's great, and I've been a supporter and member of Trees Incorporated for decades now, and recognize their good work and the importance of the partnership that we have with the city on this. I really applaud you for stepping up and continuing, not just recognizing and working with their efforts, but also building on them in the way that you're talking about with soliciting grant funds for yet more tree plantings.
Well, and then as just to stated on the record, but a lot of the trees that they plant are the correct species to have in an urban environment. So the trees that they plant are actually the trees that residents should want because they are the ones that do not interfere with lines or causing sidewalks to uproot. So yes, there's tree issues, but there's also plenty of different types of trees, and that's why we have to work with Trees Inc. because I am not a tree expert, although I'm a sycamore fan of the university. I'm by no means a tree expert. But.
I'll yield and let somebody else talk.
Councilman Nation? Any other council comments, council discussion? Councilman Chalos?
And Mayor, so when we're working with Trees Inc., we are deciding what trees are best next to the sidewalks, because you know, we're well aware of the gumball trees in my area.
Yes.
That we get complaints daily on. So we do work on the types of trees we should be planting now.
Yeah, so we don't have that exact issue, and then with those issues, we monitor it, and you know, similar to our sidewalks and streets, right? We got to take care of the worst issues first, and whereas that one isn't necessarily your top priority yet, it is still on the list for trees to be removed. Unfortunately, gumball trees do not supply gumballs, and that was knowledge to me. Again, I'm not a tree expert, but that was welcome knowledge to myself.
Absolutely.
You set him up for that.
I did. That was a nice laugh. Appreciate it. I yield.
Any other council discussion?
Madam President?
At this time, yes. Councilman
If
Nation.
there's no further discussion, I move that we take action on Special Ordinance 19, Appropriation 19, 2024.
Appropriation 40.
I'm sorry,
40.
Appropriation
Sorry.
40, 2024. Just try to keep it moving, folks. I'm not doing a very good job.
Okay, all right.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to take action on Appropriation 40, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilwoman Loudermilk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Appropriation 40, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
move for approval of Appropriation 40, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Appropriation 40, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Appropriation 40, 2024 is approved. Michelle?
Council President, just a reminder, The next several items are all salary ordinances, Special Ordinance 19 through 32. Special Ordinance 19 through 31, you have a proposed amendment before you. All of these items will need a vote to take action. Special Ordinances 19 through 31 will need a vote, a motion to amend and then pass. Ready? Special Ordinance 19, 2024, 2025 salary ordinance for City Hall employees.
Petitioner.
Good evening, Councilman Bolin and members of the Terre Haute City Council. I'm going to speak at large with regards to our salary ordinances 19 through 31, not on 32 currently because that one did not have amendments. So first and foremost, while there were some minor changes, what did not change is the overall budget number, right? So that number cannot go up, and we want to be very clear that yes, there were some minor salary changes due to a formula error, which is on the administration, not those departments. We did want to state that the overall number has not changed. Specific to the general fund, the clerk, the judge's office, fire, and IT had some minor salary changes. The clerk's office did have some service changes, as well as the controller's office, and some of those service changes were to offset the personnel changes, and that's why that overall number did not increase. There were some changes to some other funds, just some account name changes in the casino. Our transportation department had an account split up, so there was no increase or decrease there. Ray, Hallman, and EMS, some salary changes as well as service changes with that, and that's why there was not an overall budget increase. The wastewater treatment plant, there was a lowering of some projects with some construction costs coming in under bid, and then a bond payment that increased by a little bit. So it is very important to note that the overall budget itself did not see any changes, and these can be defined as internal changes after further conversation with our department heads.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wish to comment? Public comments closed. We will open council discussion.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation?
move to amend Special Ordinance Number 19 as amended, as presented.
Take action first.
I'm sorry. I move to take action, Special Ordinance Number 19 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 19, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
We can now take action on Special Ordinance 19, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
move to amend Special Ordinance Number 19, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 19, 2024, as presented, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Special Ordinance 19, 2024 is amended.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
move for approval of Special Ordinance Number 19, 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 19, 2024 as amended, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 19, 2024 is approved.
Discussion. Is that a record of number of actions that we have to take to deal with a piece of business? Okay, yeah, I thought so. Okay, I yield.
Michelle.
Special Ordinance 20, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for MBH Street Department. Same steps.
Petitioner, you've already spoke. Anyone from the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 2024? Thank you. Public comments are closed. Council discussion open. Councilman Vaughn?
If there be no discussion, I move that we take action on Special Ordinance 20, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 2024 made by Councilman Vaughn, seconded by Councilman Ginkle. All those in favor?
Aye.
We can take action on Special Ordinance 20, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Vaughn.
I move that we amend Special Ordinance 20, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 2024, made by Councilman DeVon, seconded by Councilman Dinkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Special Ordinance 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman DeVon.
I move that we approve Special Ordinance 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 2024 as amended by Councilman DeVon, seconded by Councilman Dinkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 2024 is approved.
Special Ordinance 21, 2024, 2025 salary ordinance for Transit Department.
Public comments on Special Ordinance 21, 2024.
Donald Hyde, have one question. When you say transit department, are you talking about the bus system?
Yes.
Okay, in that case, I'm all for the bus system to get the help it needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Anyone else from the public? Public comments are closed. Council discussion.
Madam President,
Councilman Dinkel.
I have a question. I was, in looking through this, it says the city will pay no less than 90% of the actual monthly premium for health insurance. Is that due to a union contract?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, Councilman Nation, that one is due, so
Dinkel.
they're all slightly, yeah, it happens. They're all slightly
compliment.
different, but you'll see the consistent language is no less than 70%, so that's our floor, but with this union, it's 90%.
Just wanted to be sure. Thank you. I yield.
Any other council discussion?
Madam President.
Councilman Nation?
Mayor, if you don't mind, since you address these in broad terms all at the same time on the front end, can you tell us what other unions aren't at that same 70% floor, if any?
That would be every other union but that one.
Including cemeteries?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is something that we've talked about within the council for years, is trying to get them all to the same percentage. And for a while, the cemetery union was like 100%. Am I correct about that?
You are.
Yeah. So coming off of 100% for the cemetery union is significant, but I'm kind of surprised that we still have an outlier, and now it's the transit union. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's a great question. So we have 8 unions that we collectively bargain with. So I'd like you to imagine kind of 8 physical levers that we have in front of us. With some of these levers, when we go up, for example, it's let's take the fire union, or a very large pay increase that they would ask for, or some stipends that they would ask for. There are other levers that then must go down or would subsequently have to change. So with transit, while they're at a 90-10, some of their raises historically have been, just to be quite clear, abysmal, right? But you have that 90-10 bargaining chip that was held over their head as in, hey, well, you know, we're covering 90% of your insurance, so here's a 1% raise while everyone else is at a 4 or 10 or 12. So it's created different levers and different scenarios. What we are doing is we are currently bargaining with one of our 8 unions on a 1-year contract instead of the traditional 4-year. The reason being is that way next year we can walk in and look at all 8 of our levers and have a long extended conversation about how we're going to work with them and bring these unions back, so that way we've got one schedule, and it'll be a long, painstaking negotiation, of course, with each one, but it actually works in their betterment, so that way everyone's on the same playing field.
Thanks, Mayor. I appreciate that
Yep.
explanation. Back years ago, the council decided we needed to have not a role, but at least a better view into the union negotiation process. And I was lucky to be one of those people who sat in on, I think, the transit union negotiations and then later the fire union negotiations. And that experience gave me a much deeper appreciation for how difficult your job is and your legal team, the people who actually negotiate these contracts. And I wish you luck next year, and I don't want it to seem like I'm beating you up about this. I appreciate the explanation. I yield.
Thank you.
Any other council discussion?
Madam President,
Councilman Dingle?
I move that we take action on Special Ordinance 21, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 21, 2024, made by Councilman Dingle, second by Councilwoman Loudermilk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You can take action now on Special Ordinance 21, 2024.
Madam President,
Dingle, Councilman Dingle?
I move to amend Special Ordinance 21, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 21, 2024 as presented by Councilman Dingle, second by Councilwoman Loudermilk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now Special Ordinance 21, 2024 amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilman Dingle.
I move for approval of Special Ordinance 21, 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 21, 2024 as amended made by Councilman Dingle, seconded by Councilwoman Loudermilk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 21, 2024 is approved.
Special ordinance 22, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for Parks Department.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 22, 2024? Thank you. Public comments are closed. Council discussion, open for council discussion. Councilwoman Thompson?
I noticed it on a ordinance 20 and 19 as well. For the paid holidays, it's listed as Columbus Day. I wanted to ask the administration if there's going to be a move towards referring to that as Indigenous Peoples' Day.
I'm at a loss for comment on that one, Councilman Thompson. I had not thought through that, and we'll take a look at that.
I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that.
I apologize, that must have just been a carryover of our traditional federal holidays, which has since changed, so we'll look at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, Mayor, I think maybe Ann Teresa may have an answer for that.
Oh, we haven't officially changed it yet.
But
Indiana, it's still.
Definitely still Columbus.
But
It is in
we,
Indiana.
as a city, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I
sorry.
believe in Indiana, it is still recognized as Columbus Day. Terre Haute in the past has done resolutions or proclamations for Indigenous Peoples' Day for that specific year. But we are happy to put forward something to officially rename if that is.
That would be something that I
Yeah.
personally would support. And there's nothing from the state level that would prevent us from doing that, right?
I will
As a
ensure.
city, we can be more progressive.
We can certainly.
Yeah, that's the home, it would be under home rule, which is the legislation that allows your local unit of government to do things.
Awesome.
Okay, anyone else? Council wish to comment?
Madam President,
Councilman Nation?
if there's no further comment, I move that we take action on Special Ordinance Number 22, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to take action on Special Ordinance 22, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman DeBon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We now take action on Special Ordinance 22, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation?
I move to amend Special Ordinance 22, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 22, 2024 as presented, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman DeBon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 22, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation?
I move for approval of Special Ordinance 22, 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Special Ordinance 22, 2024 as amended, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman DeBon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 22, 2024 is approved. Michelle?
Special ordinance 23, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for Cemetery Department.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 23, 2024?
Don Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. When you say cemetery department, is that the people that go dig and bury people?
No.
What's it about then?
I'm just kidding. Bring a little levity in. That's what they do with the cemetery. I'm s-
I'm
What's the
sorry, Mr.
cemetery
Hines.
department? Well, they do.
Pardon me?
What does the cemetery department do?
You want to give their job description, Mayor?
Maintain the cemeteries and bury
The Terre Haute Cemetery Department is responsible for maintenance and operations of our 2 municipally owned cemeteries. Within the department, we have our department head. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to comment? Public comments will be closed. We'll open council discussion. Want the council have any comments?
Madam
Councilman
President,
Devon?
if there be no discussion, I move that we take action on Special Ordinance 23, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 23, 2024, made by Councilman Devon, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We now take action on Special Ordinance 23, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Devon?
I move that we amend Special Ordinance 23, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 23, 2024, made by Councilman DeBon, seconded by Councilwoman Hinton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 23, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilman DeBon.
I move that we approve Special Ordinance 24, 2024 as amended.
Second.
23, I apologize, yeah. Special
Second.
Ordinance 23, 2024 as presented.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 23, 2024 as amended. Made by Councilman DeBon, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 23, 2024 is approved.
Special Ordinance 24, 2024, 2025 salary ordinance for wastewater treatment plant.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 24, 2024? Thank you. Public comments will be closed then. Anyone from the council? Public
Madam
comment, council discussion, I'm sorry.
There's no other discussion. I move that we take action on Special Ordinance 24, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 24, 2024, made by Councilman Chalos, seconded by Councilman DeVon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Special Ordinance 24, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Chalos.
I move that we amend Special Ordinance 24, 2024.
Second.
We have motion to amend Special Ordinance 24, 2024, made by Councilman Chalos, seconded by Councilman DeVon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 24, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilman Chalos.
I move that we adopt Special Ordinance 24, 2024. Good job. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Special Ordinance 24, 2024, made by Councilman Chalos, seconded by Councilman DeVon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Special Ordinance 24, 2024 is approved as amended.
It's a tongue twister.
Special
Couple of
Ordinance
them.
25,
Michelle.
2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for police civilian employees.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 25, 2024?
Donald Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. Is this police meaning the Terre Haute Police Department?
Michigan.
Police civilian employees, so civilian employees who work for the police department, as I understand. Is that
It's
correct?
not the police department?
Pardon me?
It's not the police?
They are not police officers.
It's the civilian employees of the Terre Haute Police Department
Okay.
that are a member of the union.
No comment.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde.
Okay.
Close public comments and open council discussion for Special Ordinance 25, 2024. Councilman Dingle?
Just one question. When I was comparing to last year's ordinance, I noticed that all the positions received a standard salary raise with the exception of the social worker. I know that's a relatively new position for the city. I just wanted to see if that was, just make sure we're keeping on par with what's expected.
So Councilman Dingle, it's kind of like a separate agreement because it came from that grant with
That's what I
United
thought.
Way. That your other social worker is housed through a different fund, but that's what that number is going to be at. So it's because there's different entities paying in and outside of the city.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. Thank you. I yield.
Madam President.
Councilman Nation?
One other question about the social worker, Mayor. You have told us that it's your intention to get Jerem some help and hire a second social worker. Is that reflected in this budget?
That is reflected in the budget, and that second employee is not housed under the general fund, but under opioid restricted.
Okay, great.
Which doesn't really pertain to necessarily this ordinance, but it's just wanted to describe where it's housed at.
Well, thanks. That's all I was really asking. I appreciate that explanation. That's it. I yield.
Any other council discussion? I'd entertain a motion.
Madam President,
Councilman Dingle?
I move that we take action on Special Ordinance 25, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 25, 2024, made by Councilman Dingle, seconded by Councilman Nation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We now take action on Special Ordinance 25, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Dingle?
I move that we amend Special Ordinance 25, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 25, 2024, made by Councilman Dingle, seconded by Councilman Nation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 25, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilman Dingle?
I move for approval of Special Ordinance 25, 2024 as amended.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 25, 2024 as amended, made by Councilman Dingle, seconded by Councilman Nation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 25, 2024 is approved as amended.
Special Ordinance 26, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for the police department.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 26, 2024?
I believe I understood that this was the police department.
That's correct.
The only thing I want to say, and it's of course too late this year, but I know for a fact that this city council is going to get a lot more money in the next 4 years. I know that to be a fact, and there's no way to deny it. And I would like the police department to get a raise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hyden.
Can I ask a question? Where are you planning on getting it? Where we're getting it?
You guys stop it back there.
Where do you think we're getting it?
Okay, I'll close public comments and open council discussion.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loud.
if there is no discussion, I'll make a motion that we take action on Special Ordinance 26, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 26, 2024, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Special Ordinance 26, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend Special Ordinance 26, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 26, 2024, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 26, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Special Ordinance 26, 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 26, 2024 as amended, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 26, 2024 is approved as amended. Michelle?
Special Ordinance 27, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for the fire department.
Does anyone from the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 27, 2024?
Donald Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. Yes, I have only one comment. I know that your budget's set for this year. I'm not talking about this year. I am talking about in the future. You guys are gonna have more money and I know you don't believe me, but you're gonna have a lot more money to spend. And when you do have that more money to spend, I'd like the fire department to also get a raise. Thank you.
Here you go, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde.
Done.
Anyone else from the public wish to comment, other than those guys in the
Engineer,
back row?
all of you guys, you're done. You don't get it.
Don's got you covered.
Okay, I'll close public comments and open council discussion. See if we can get back in control here. Councilman Chalos.
Madam President, if there's no other discussion, I would like to propose we take action on Special Ordinance 27, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to take action on Special Ordinance 27, 2024, made by Councilman Chalos, second by Councilwoman Loudermilk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Special Ordinance 27, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Chalos.
I move that we amend as proposed Special Ordinance 27, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 27, 2024, as presented, made by Councilman Chalos, seconded by Councilwoman Loudermilk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 27, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilman Chalos.
I move that we adopt Special Ordinance 27, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to adopt Special Ordinance 27, 2024, made by Councilman Chalos, seconded by Councilwoman Loudermilk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 27, 2024 is approved as amended.
Special Ordinance 28, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for the mayor.
This one might take a while. Anyone from the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 28, 2024?
He's not gonna get any more money in the next 4 years, but no, that's fine.
Anyone from the public? Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Close public comments and open council discussion.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation?
if there's no discussion, I move that we take action on special ordinance number 28, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 28, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Dinkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Special Ordinance 28, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation?
I move to amend special ordinance 28, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to amend Special Ordinance 28, 2024 as presented, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Dinkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special
President.
Ordinance 28, 2024 is amended as presented. Councilman Nation.
I move for approval of special ordinance number 28, 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 28, 2024 as amended, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Dinkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 28, 2024 is approved as amended.
Thank you for your work, Mayor Sackman.
Special Ordinance 29, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for the city council.
Any public comments on Special Ordinance 29, 2024? Thank you, Mr. Hyde.
No raise.
We'll close public comments before he changes his mind. And open council discussion. That's what happens when we have a long meeting, right?
Yeah, I do have a couple of comments on this, and I was not here for all of the meetings, so I apologize. I went over the council salaries since I've been on, 24 years. In 24 years, after I averaged 24 years up to today, the average increase in the salary for the city council has been $176 a year. We took, and I say we because this is when I started, we had 12 years where the council took no raise. We had 6 times where we kept it the same. I think, and I'm not worried about this year because I know things are pretty well set, but next year I think the council needs to take a long, hard look at increasing the salaries, not just for those of us that are sitting on this council now, because some of us may not be here in another 2 or 3 years. But if you're going to attract and retain qualified people, then I think you need to pay these people appropriately. When I look at some of the salaries in the state of Indiana with councils or with population almost the same size as us, we are very, and I say we, the council is not paid what I believe and what I would hope that the majority believes is not reasonable. This year's raise would be $26.50 a month. That's what the raise would be for city council. So, you know, that's not a lot of money. I don't think any of us got into it for the money, but I do think that the position itself deserves to be looked at. Not necessarily the person in the position, but the position itself. So therefore, I'd just like to go on record that next year, when budget time comes around, that this council take a long, hard look at how much of an increase that we need. I do believe that by statute, and I may be wrong, but I believe the city council sets the salary for elected officials. So if the city council sets a salary, and I know everybody says, well, you set your own salary, or somebody has to. This is not our doing, this is set by the state. The state has told us that we set our salaries. We set salaries for elected people. So I agree with Mr. Hyde that I believe hopefully next year we're going to be a little more flush with money. I believe that the fire, police, cemetery, all of our employees deserve a substantial raise. But I think in that case, so do some of all of our elected officials that are doing their job. So with that, I yield.
Just want to quickly state, Councilman Azar, I really appreciate those comments. And based off the 126, when we take our $26 per month today and we multiply it by 12, it comes out to a total of 314. So 314 less 176, if you take 140 over 170, shows that this is quite literally almost double what previous averages have been over your past time on council. And as you had appropriately said, it is still not enough or not close, but you know, it does show that some action has been taken. Obviously not enough action, but you know, we're trying.
And if I may say something else.
Certainly.
And I've said this for years and years and years. I don't believe the mayor's salary is enough, because that position deserves more than what it gets. Not the person in the position itself. So, you know, I think you don't demand respect, you command respect. And I think that's what hopefully we are all doing here, is we command respect of our constituents, and hopefully they will understand if we do get a small increase in our salary.
Absolutely.
I yield.
Councilman DeBon?
Yeah, thank you. I do think if it be this year or next, I completely echo Councilman Azar's thoughts. In my almost 9 years on council now, I have served with very fine leaders on this council. I continue to do so. I think very highly of each of you as well. But you know, as George pointed out, I do worry that if the salary remains below where it should be, that may not always be the case. We may not attract quality candidates to run for elected position on this council. So I do think it is important for that reason. Again, I do acknowledge that it seems something is being done. But again, compared to other communities, other councils, I know we're on a much lower end. I'll yield for now with that.
Any other? Councilman Dinkel?
Yeah, to echo Councilperson DeBon's comments, I was curious, so I looked up what other cities that are comparable in size to us are making on their city council. Noblesville's at 17,175. Bloomington's at 18,673. Plainfield's at 19,000. Elkhart's at 20,164. And Evansville's at 21,588. So we fall under that by a lot. And I have a question, not to put Councilperson Loudermilk on the spot, but she's the one with the numbers. Didn't the Vigo County Council recently raise their rate as well? Do you happen to know what that is roughly?
Yeah, this next year will be 20,865.
Okay. So again, we've had other councils in Vigo County take that action to raise the elected officials up to that. So I think we do need to take a consideration. I think part of the problem is for years and years going beyond, before this administration, it has always been a percent raise. And I said this during budget hearings, the people at the bottom of the scale get the short end of the deal on percentage raises because 2% of our salary or administrative assistant salary is a lot less than a department head. And I think all of our city employees are underpaid. We know that. But it still costs the people at the bottom of the salary schedule the same amount to put gas in their cars as it does people at the top. So I hope we continue having these conversations and making sure we're paying everybody equally, including the council. And as Councilperson Azar said, it's not about us. I can guarantee none of the people at this table got into this for money. But if we want to continue to attract quality people to sit at this table and make decisions on behalf of the government, we have to pay them with the work. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Councilman Dinkle. Councilman Nation?
I agree with everything that's been said. I remember, as George stated, the council went for 12 years without any raises at all. And I was a member of that council or those councils. So when I see any raise at all, I think, oh, well, at least there's a positive number here. So I didn't see this as something to fight about, but I appreciate the points that are being made, and I fully agree with them. I do have a little bit of, I'll call it understanding or empathy for the budgeting exercise, though, that the mayor saddled with trying to do and his team. And that doesn't just include looking at the council's budget through the lens of how much each of us gets paid, which, for the record, what's being proposed after the 2% raise is $15,943 a year. What I did want to acknowledge is that this year we made some changes, and the administration went along with those changes, and they have to do with hiring our own attorney for the first time in a long time. That was one of the things that, giving up our own attorney was one of the things that the city council agreed to as part of the belt tightening that we collectively did in the wake of the tax caps and other budgetary crises we've had over the last 15 years or so. We're coming out of those, and I want to acknowledge and express appreciation for the fact that we now have our own attorney again, Mike Slagle. But that comes with a price. It's a line item in the budget that we didn't have for years now. So when you look at the whole council's budget, that's that having one more salary lumped in there brings our collective budget up by a percentage that's probably higher than many other departments. That's the only thing the only point I wanted to make. But I would go on to say that next year, that won't be a new number anymore. That'll be the new baseline, including our attorney's number in there too. So I think that this is all a healthy and appropriate discussion, and I thank you all for acknowledging this.
I couldn't tell. I didn't know if his mic was going out or my hearing aid. I think it's both.
I don't experience those problems
Well,
yet,
you're
but
young.
Any other council discussion?
Madam President,
Councilwoman
I just wanted to
Loudermilk.
clarify something. Okay. That was like 21,825 for this year.
21.
825.
Thank you.
And You know, the county council, or the county went through a study just a couple of years ago. I will tell you what they came back with, how they did it, I don't know. But they came back with, for councils, $60-some thousand for councils. Now, we knew that was not, that number was not a good number to use based on the state of Indiana. And I'll agree with Councilman Nation, you know, budgeting and trying to get all the salaries in and any extra in is tough. I just want to say that I hope that Mr. Hyde's right, that in the next 3 or 4 years, we're just going to have so much buckets of money that the mayor is going to be able to increase these salaries for everyone. Because if we don't, we do have some challenges coming. And that is with our employees and maintaining our employees that we have and keeping the professionals that we have. So, I don't know that, you know, I will always say the one difference we do different than the county council is we're both legislative and fiscal, and they're only fiscal. And, you know, I agree, it's not the person, it's the position, and then what you might get in the future. I know with this council and the council I worked with in the past, everyone does their homework. You spend a lot more hours than what you're making. But again, we all didn't get into this for the money. We didn't run for the money, so we know that. I just wanted to make sure I clarified that, give you a little history of what a study came back with. Not sure that any of us could afford that. And let the mayor and the administration know there is a big understanding of doing a budget. If anyone knows, I do. And again, hopefully that Mr. Hyde is correct, because there's going to be some tough decisions made going into negotiations. So, I
8
yield.
levers.
I yield.
Thank you, Councilman Leonard. Anyone else?
Madam President,
Councilman Nation?
if there's no further discussion, I move to take action on Special Ordinance 29, 2025.
2024.
2024, sorry.
Sick is
Can
2025.
you go ahead and do it now for 25? Second.
We have a motion on the floor to take action on Special Ordinance 29, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Dinkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Special Ordinance 29, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
I move to amend Special Ordinance 29, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 29, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Dinkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Special, anybody opposed? Sorry.
Ahead of yourself.
I'm trying to speed things up too. Okay. Special Ordinance 29, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
I move for approval of Special Ordinance 29, 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 29, 2024 as amended, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman Dinkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 29, 2024 is approved as amended. Michelle?
Special Ordinance 30, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for the city court judge. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone from the public have any comments on Special Ordinance 30, 2024? No public, hearing no public comments, we'll close public comments and open council discussion.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
if there be no discussion, I move to amend, I move that we take action on Special Ordinance number 30, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to take action on Special Ordinance 30, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilwoman Thompson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Special Ordinance 30, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
I move that we amend Special Ordinance number 30, 2024 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to amend Special Ordinance 30, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilwoman Councilwoman Thompson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 30, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
I move for approval of Special Ordinance Number 30, 2024, as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 30, 2024 as amended, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilwoman Thompson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 30, 2024 is approved as amended. Michelle?
Special Ordinance 31, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for the city clerk.
Any public comments on Special Ordinance 31, 2024?
Donald Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. I have only one thing to say about this, and to state one of the problems every citizen has in this city is inflation. I'll let it go at that. Thank you. And
Thank you,
I
Mr.
support the
Hyde.
guy getting his raise.
Okay, Michelle, take care of that, please.
Any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll close public comments and open council discussion.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk.
if there is no discussion, I'd like to make a motion that we take action on Special Ordinance 31, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on Special Ordinance 31, 2024, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on Special Ordinance 31, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend Special Ordinance 31, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to amend Special Ordinance 31, 2024, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman Chalos. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 31, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Special Ordinance 31, 2024 as amended.
And I would like to second it.
Is that different than approved?
That's what he did.
All those in favor of adopting Special Ordinance 31, 2024 is presented by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman Chalos. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 31, 2024 is adopted as amended.
Thank you, council, and the judge thanks you as well.
Thank you for your service, Michelle.
We'll keep it coming, Michelle.
Get that inflation under control.
I will. Special Ordinance 32, 2024, the 2025 salary ordinance for redevelopment. And it is your last salary ordinance.
But does it have to be amended?
No.
That's what I thought.
Needs no amendment.
No
Did
amendment.
Brandon speak on this, or do we need a petitioner?
I would confirm with the mayor that I did not receive an amended version for redevelopment. There's no-
Petitioner, you're good? Okay,
Yeah,
so
there's no
your
change to
comments,
this
okay.
one.
All right, thank you. Any public comments on Special Ordinance 32, 2024?
Donald Hyde, 1411 Poplar Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. Well, another one I can make a comment on. Again, I don't care if it gets a raise, but I will say this much. We are in a situation, I'm 70 years old now. And in 4 times in my entire life have I seen a boom that's coming here. Only 4 times I saw that. This is one of those times. Guys, you've got to have more housing. You're not building enough low-cost housing in this city, and it's going to come back and get you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Anyone else in the public wish to comment on Special Ordinance 32, 2024? Hearing none, I'll close council discussion, or close public comments and open council discussion.
Madam President.
Councilman Nation.
Mayor Sackman, I note that we are holding steady at a 5-member team for our Department of Redevelopment. Do you have any plans to rebuild that staff in the coming years?
That's a really good question, Councilman Nation, and I promise I won't go very long on this. So a couple things are happening within those budgets that fund positions for redevelopment. First and foremost, part of our Lilly Endowment application, which is LEI, it's a very large state grant focused on blight and demolition. A small portion of the $10 million, I believe, that our region applied for was for a housing coordinator to be housed within Terre Haute redevelopment. That is course of action number one. Course of action number two is, so the TIF district, right? TIF district, if you look at that cup and it's half full with water and you start a TIF district, every year as more water is poured into that cup, you are capturing that amount of water that is poured. That is going to the TIF district. A small portion of that water, of that TIF district, can be used to pay salaries. What is often not done is municipalities don't prune their TIF district. What that means is basically you take out the properties that are devaluing and actually hurting your TIF district's growth. So we're going to go through that this winter and update some of our TIF districts. We have a lot of building permits and a lot of growth, especially in 2 of our TIF districts. So my plan is to wait 3 property tax cycles, those kind of 6-month increments, watch that account. We've got some larger development coming in. We have a lot of infrastructure we're putting in. Once those numbers are finalized, then that's course of action number 2 to look at some additional staffing. As you all know, that is one of our departments that is very seasoned, has got a lot of years of experience, and we are working with some of them on when they choose to step aside from their service with the city. So you will probably start to see some new individuals come in and get some training and take over some of those roles. But that's a very good question, Councilman Nation.
Thanks. I have watched that department shrink over the years, and I'm delighted that there's a strategy for adding positions back in. That's important.
And then it's important to add on record that those funds that for that redevelopment office are not coming from your general fund, your edit fund, or public safety fund. So it wouldn't come at the expense of any other department within the city. This is a separate entity.
Yeah, and it's still relatively new that this council sees a full budget or sees a budget in the same form that we see the other budgets for the departments. The folks who are new, you know, this is just another budget, but to people like me and George and those of us who have served for multiple terms, we know that there was kind of a dearth of information about what was happening in redevelopment until a couple of years ago. And that's now changed, and they're all on a more level playing field, if you will. But I recognize that it's still, in many ways, its own separate. It's not a separate unit of government, but it's almost a separate unit of government. And that's kind of oversimplifying it. But anyway, thank you. I yield.
Thank you.
Any other council discussion? Councilman Dinkle.
This is a new person question, probably. So unlike the rest of our salary ordinance we've looked at tonight, the level of health insurance that's provided, the days off, are all set through an employee handbook in here. Who approves that handbook and those decisions?
Sorry, say again, the redevelopment employee handbook?
Yeah, so that's how, you know, the level of hospital insurance and health insurance and days off. Who sets that? The reason I ask is could theoretically somebody outside of city government, outside the council.
Probably the redevelopment board.
Yeah, that's the redevelopment commission that handles that. So, and of course, there's similarities to the cities. Now, on insurance, they're not calculated and not working. I shouldn't say not working with, but they're not a part of our overall insurance with the other departments because, you know, with some federal dollars going to some of those employees, it's just it's a different system. But good question.
Yep, thanks. I yield.
Any other council discussion?
Madam President.
Councilman Nation.
If there's no further discussion, I move that we take action on special ordinance number 32, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to take action on special ordinance 32, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman DeVaughn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on special ordinance 32, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilman Nation.
since this one doesn't need an amendment, I move for approval of Special Ordinance Number 32, 2024, as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Special Ordinance 32, 2024, made by Councilman Nation, seconded by Councilman DeBon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Special Ordinance 32, 2024 is approved as presented. Michelle?
Appropriation 37, 2024, the 2025 City of Terre Haute budget. You have the proposed amendment before you. You must also vote to take action.
Michelle, am I good to talk on both of these now, or do you want me to speak on them separate? So just really quickly, I want to cover just 5 minutes this overall budget update. So this proposed budget includes increased investments that haven't been seen in decades when it comes to public safety, road paving, parks, demolition, stormwater improvements, sidewalks, neglected departments like our cemetery department, and necessary equipment upgrades for our employees. I'm going to talk on public safety for the first time in 24 years. With the work of this council and the fire administration and City Hall, we are going to be adding firefighters. Now, a lot of people, when we say there's an addition, they kind of, whoa, what's the cost of that? Well, with all of our growth and our ambulance concerns, there's a very clear reason why that needs to be done. To be able to fully operate, our public safety is hyper-focused on, one, committing to appropriate staffing, which is staffing to the levels that you set forth in the budget, and that is something that we're working on, both police and fire. When it comes to community development, in this budget, over $31 million is dedicated to community development and community projects. And I know as soon as I say that number, folks at home, whether they check the news tonight or the Tribune Star or read it in the morning, they're going to say, wow, that's a lot of money. You know, how can we afford that? Are they increasing our taxes? Folks, I'm very proud to say today that no debt is being planned to be issued in 2025. So the reason why that's a high dollar value is you are seeing some of the match payments for the ARPA projects finally come to fruition. But what you're also seeing is pragmatic but also deliberate improvements to our stormwater and sewage system being funded from our sanitary district, which we've been mandated to do for years. And it's really important that when we frame the conversation around the city budget, yes, we spent an hour and 10 minutes regarding the salary ordinances, but what we're also doing is passing $31 million in community development for the city of Terre Haute. With that, there are other highlights. This council has reviewed for the first time an education grant, which is a partnership with the Vigo County School Corporation. They're a separate unit, separate entity of government. But our proposal is to take casino dollars and let our teachers apply for $10,000 of funding to upgrade their classrooms and provide for necessary equipment. Because you all know, well, I mean, we've got a teacher on the council. How many of our teachers have to put links online to get funding just to do their job? And the school corporation faces a multitude of battles, some of it due to how the state legislature operates, referendum style funding. And this small $50,000 will go towards helping the staff and helping the kids in our community. What we also have here is just a little bit of project progress. The long debated and awaited 13th and 8th Avenue overpass, you're going to start to see some work in the spring, some right-of-way, some utility work. But what you're also really going to see is the fall of 2025 is when that project comes to fruition. That's when we bid it out. And that's an NDOT project, not a local project. So there's nothing we can really do about that timeline. And I'd ask you to help me inform your constituents that yes, the overpass is coming. And for the 100th time this year, we will tell them fall of 2025 is when you're going to see a lot of work on that. And you'll see a little bit in the spring. The Park Avenue main lift station is a project that we're happy to announce. The main lift station doesn't sound interesting. But we actually have to pump what goes into our sewage system, and it's absolutely critical that we upgrade those. One, because we are growing and developing. But two, if we don't update it, that city's infrastructure will quite literally crumble on us. The 2025 budget includes investments into our future parks. Hertz Rose Park, we're doing that groundbreaking October 21st, and you'll see construction next year. Ray Park will be completed. And a park that I'm very, very proud to announce is Deming Park's pool renovation. So we had an appropriation earlier this year for Terrytown and water. Unfortunately, based off timing, not all of that funding will go to Terrytown because those residents chose not to opt into that program. By choosing not to opt into that program, the staff has diligently been working towards a pool renovation. We believe we are on the cusp, almost there financially. A few state grants we're going to apply for to get us over the hump, to apply for a $3.25 million pool renovation to that long awaited project. I will be direct. An updated bathhouse is not quite in the financial picture, but here's why. We have to build what we can afford. And right now, if we were to go all in and have a new bath facility, a large concession stand facility, it would take us well over the budget previously discussed of $3.25 million. And what I refuse to do as mayor is raise the price of entry into the pool to pay off debt issued for building some large destination water park. What we are going to do is we're going to be very pragmatic and build a pool that doesn't add too much to the capacity of Deming Park, which is already frequently programmed and a lot of individuals in our community go to it. So there is going to be a renovation, and we look forward to announcing full details on that. But on top of those 3 large parks plans, we have a separate line item for equipment to upgrade parks that are set forth in our Parks 5-year master plan, which this council assisted the administration by approving $100,000 of ARPA funds to do. As a reminder, that 5-year Parks master plan is required by the state, and we're on year 6 of an old plan. So we had to do it, but not only are we going to implement a plan, we have funding tied to that plan for the first time in a long time. To close, we have increased funding for our sidewalks. We saw a 60% increase with that. We saw a 15% increase in road funding, and that increase does not include the state graciously increasing the community crossing grant program. So we expect that 15% actually to go up. Demolition funding will be increased by 40%. Payments for significant projects will come due next year, and we did see an overall large budget increase. But what we are seeing is progress in our community. Whether it's homes being announced, being built every other week, or infrastructure projects and parks projects, I'm very proud of the City of Terre Haute's budget and the progress we've made in 2024. I acknowledge the challenges that we will face in 2025, 2026, and 2027. But today before you, we bring a budget that invests in the people of our community, and we're happy to do that. And with that, I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone from the public wish to comment on Appropriation 37, 2024?
Yes, Donald Hyde, 1411 Public Street, Terre Haute, Indiana. I am not going to say anything about stopping the budget. This year's done. However, I will say this much. When you talk about the city sidewalks, when you talk about the city streets, I walk everywhere, people. And I'll get a lot of energy. And by the way, I got doctors telling me I better do more walking. But the bottom line is I see it all. I see streets, and I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, what the heck happened here? I go by them. You know, I said that last summer. I still go by the same place. Nothing's been done to it. It's still broken. One of the things we don't have is a sidewalk thing. You talk about we have people, and you want tourists, you want people in the city to get out and get exercise. You got to give them a safe place to do that. The sidewalk is the safe place, but all the time I'm seeing people riding electronic things now up and down the sidewalks. And they don't care how fast they're going either, by the way. And I'm walking. There's a lot of people that still walk and need the sidewalks. I can name 3 places where they, and by the way, one of the reasons this is happening has nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with me or the public. It has to do with the 8 companies that spent the last 3 years trying to take all their equipment and put it underground. And they've been doing a pretty good job here and there. I'm not saying they're not doing their job, but they do make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, they leave them there. and it's forever before I see them fixed, and some of them I've yet to see fixed. And I know for a fact by walking by some of these sidewalks, some of the holes and some of the breaks that are there, they weren't there in the springtime. They just happened in the last 6 months during this project. And some of them, they literally popped up the sidewalk and they left part of the sidewalk here. And I watched it. It took them 2 months before they put something down there and then put the sidewalk back where it was supposed to be. And by the way, the crack was never fixed. And the height of the sidewalk is wrong. And again, if you're doing sidewalks, remember, people have to walk. People with wheelchairs have to drive their wheelchairs over. Every time you make a project, a sidewalk, and you don't keep it fixed, it's hard for those people to do that. And I'm talking about the whole 60,000 plus people that live here. I'm not even talking about ISU, they're big enough to get around. But there's a whole lot of people in this city that are not so lucky.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde.
And I'm not even talking about myself either. I can
Thank you, Mr.
walk.
Hyde. Anyone else in the public wish to comment? I'll close public comments and open council discussion.
Madam President,
Councilman Taylor.
this is a question to the mayor. You said you were going to implement about $100,000 in equipment upgrade for parks, things of that nature. Do we have any plans for College Park? That's obviously my area.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Councilman Chalos. So first and foremost with that, we are waiting whether or not the College Park Neighborhood Association received some grant-based funding this year, which of course we hope they do because that would make funding easier next year. At this time, it's 250,000, or sorry, 225,000, not 100,000.
Okay.
And that's for parks equipment across the city. Outside of what the parks budget already has, right? That's a separate casino pot that we're using that from. That's a long-winded way of saying we just quite don't know yet, right? We got to wait and see if some of these other grants do come through, and if not, we're going to target very specifically where we go. A very big initiative by Eddie Bird, our park superintendent, and Kylie Smith, our assistant superintendent. They say this over and over again, and I'm going to kind of steal from them here. Every kid in the city of Terre Haute deserves a consistent quality of life. They don't use the term quality of life, they use consistent quality of life. And what they mean by that is whether you grew up next to Hertz Rose Park, Deming Park, Maples Nature Park, or Dobbs Park, the quality has got to be consistent across our parks. And it is one of their focus areas. That's why you're seeing Ray Park and Hertz Rose Park as we try to get everything up to a consistent level.
Sure. Yeah, and I appreciate you and I have had many discussions about that, and I know it takes time to get some of that done. And I just want to also make sure that we take a look at, as we're upgrading those equipment, that we're doing, making them ADA accessible, things of that nature as we go forward. And I told the folks in the College Park Association, hopefully if we can get that grant, and you helped us lead us to that, and work that out, that maybe we can do some kind of a phase project there. We're going to do 2 or 3 phases. Change some of that equipment out.
It's something to comment on because I really like one of your comments is that nonprofit group, right, is really helping work with the city. And we see that a lot of different, we work with a lot of different nonprofits, whether it's YMCA, College Park, Neighborhood Homeowners Association, as well as Ray Park. Friends of Ray Park is a great example, helping fundraise over $700,000 towards the clubhouse renovation. We welcome those partnerships. There are some grants we're not eligible for, but a nonprofit is, and we always push to write letters of support. And a great example is the $1 million that Next Steps received over in Farrington Grove for their recovery center for pregnant women. So for all those nonprofits out there, please come see our office if there's a grant opportunity, and we'd be happy to partner with you and write a letter of support for it.
Awesome. I want to thank you for helping us get things moving in the right direction. I yield.
Any other council discussion?
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk?
if there is no further discussion, I'll make a motion that we take action on appropriation 37, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to take action on appropriation 37, 2024, made by Councilman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman DeBon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on appropriation 37, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve appropriation
you
37.
have to amend it.
Oh, we do, oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend appropriation 37, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to amend appropriation 37, 2024, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman DeBon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Appropriation 37, 2024 is amended as presented.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Loudermilk.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve appropriation 37, 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion to approve appropriation 37, 2024 as amended, made by Councilwoman Loudermilk, seconded by Councilman DeBon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Appropriation 37, 2024 is approved as amended.
The
Michelle?
last item. Appropriation 38, 2024, the 2025 City of Terre Haute Sanitary District Budget. You do not have an amendment, but you must vote to take action.
You can take some of the previous comments.
Okay, all right. Anyone from the public wish to comment on appropriation 38, 2024? Hearing none, I'll close public comments, open council discussion.
Madam President,
Councilman Dinkle?
I move that we take action on appropriation 38, 2024.
Second. We have a motion on the floor to take action on appropriation 38, 2024, made by Councilman Dinkle, seconded by Councilwoman Hinton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can now take action on appropriation 38, 2024.
Madam President,
Councilwoman Hinton.
I move that we approve appropriation 38, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion to approve appropriation 38, 2024, made by Councilwoman Hinton, seconded by Councilman Dinkle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Appropriation 38, 2024 is approved. So before George gets to do his last action tonight, I received a letter from the Terre Haute Humane Society thanking the council and the city clerk for the contribution that we made in memory of John Plassey, and I just wanted to share that publicly with the council. So it was a really, really nice thank you, and thank you all for participating in that.
One last reminder from Michelle, you need to stay at your seats because you need to sign the budget tonight.
Thank you, Michelle.
And now, George, you have the floor.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, my God.
We have a motion
Stage
to
right.
adjourn, made by Councilman Azar, seconded by Councilman Devon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.